Hope you're doing fine. How's the weather? Tennessee's just snow and ice. I'm only writing cause I think I should.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Campbell's Morel Music Rig Rundown. This is episode 19. Getting ready to hit that big 20 mark here next week, hopefully. So it's hard to believe it's has gone as far as it's gone already.
Right.
Yeah, we're doing these every week and putting them out and having a lot of good feedback and response from it. And people love to see local bands and musicians and what they're using and everything. But this is another one. We had Spencer last week. We've had a couple members of their band. This is another one that we have had another member of the band before, and Mr. Alex Ryan of the band Fairview.
What's up, everyone?
They come out as a easy core,
pop punk, like hardcore adjacent. We're still trying to figure out what we're actually doing.
Yeah, so we're still working on Chase to get him in here to do a rig rundown.
I will hound him to get him in here. Chase, you hear me? You're coming to the next one.
And we would get Chris in here, but he would just maybe talk about his clothes and what he's wearing.
Which one? We have two Chris's.
Oh yeah, Mitchell.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
He's a bass player.
Yeah.
What's he playing?
No, I know it. Now we give Chris a hard time, but
he deserves it.
Appreciate you joining us tonight and ready to jump right into this rig. But before that, I will tell you that we'll throw up some links to the Fairview and stuff and their music, and be sure to like and follow those guys. And Alex also runs the studio out in Boones Creek called Sound Asylum, and a lot of you probably have heard of that in the past. And he's a great producer, can really get the sound you're looking for. And if you're looking to record, definitely go check him out. Sound Asylum, Boones Creek, and we'll throw you a link up for that too.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that.
But every rig, I always jump straight in the guitar and
so
beautiful Fender Jazzmaster.
Yeah, I've just got the Fender Jazzmaster. I'm a Fender guy, 100%. Like, that's pretty much all I play. I am normally more partial to Telecasters. I've actually owned like 3 or 4 Tellies in my life. Mm-hmm. But recently, this guy has been my go-to. Like, I don't know, something about the way it feels.
Right.
It's also the first time I've really ever played P90s.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really played this before, and I just love the way they feel. Like, these just sound really nice. Not quite like humbuckers, but they're really close. I really enjoy, like, they break up really nicely through this amp in particular, but there's something about them I just really like.
Yeah.
This guitar just feels super nice. It's not super heavy. Mm-hmm. I'm not a very big guy, so like I like to have a guitar that's a little bit smaller, that's a little bit more like form factor for me.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of I'm not up here shredding, so it's really nice and comfortable. The neck is nice and smooth for me. Mm-hmm. It just feels really nice in my hand. It reminds me of a Telly, but like it kind of has that almost Stratocaster feel, but without the annoying switch right here and all the knobs that I will accidentally turn off.
Speaking of that, it looks like you got tape on one of them.
Yes, we have a switch that we don't bother to use, so we just taped it off. For me, I play punk rock. It's always on the bridge. It's always at full volume. There's I don't do anything else.
Yeah, maybe back in the day you didn't see as many offset guitars as you are seeing now in a lot of music. And I know the guy behind the camera, he's got 2 new Jazzmasters. He's been rocking, and a lot of other bands, local bands I see playing Jazzmasters as well. They're versatile.
They're super versatile. I don't know, something about Fender for me has always been my go-to brand. Ever since I started playing them, I was just they're when I grab a Fender, I kind of know exactly what I'm gonna get, and it doesn't matter. Honestly, I'm partial to Telecasters, but I've not really played a Fender that I don't like.
Right.
Maybe a Jaguar or Jag. I'm not super crazy about those, but they're still great.
Yeah.
They all feel nice.
Yeah, just everything coming from Fender out of the box is usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't bother using the tremolo system or anything?
No, not at all. It's literally just plug and play.
Yeah.
I'm pretty old school and just easy to please.
And this one's got a nice little relic job on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of looks a little more beat up, and then this is actually Chase's guitar, so we kind of technically got some of him here. A lot of this gear is Chase's. He's let me use it, thankfully. But he got it for the band. But yeah, this is getting kind of relicked, so it's I'm not afraid to kind of sling it around a little bit now. You know, somebody else's guitar, if it's nice and clean looking, I'd be like, oh, I'm a little scared. But he handed this to me, and it's kind of already kind of dinged up. So I think we're okay with kind of going crazy with it.
Nice. So yeah, and just like Dunlop strap locks or shallow strap locks, or is that?
I think these are Dunlops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So straight out of the guitar into your pedal board. Nice simple setup here. And I'll let you talk about how your chain runs.
Yeah. So again, really basic pedal board. I kind of more the philosophy that my amp does most of my tone. So I literally only have really like 3 pedals. You know, I'm not really counting the tuning pedal. I've got the electro-harmonic silencer for literally just noise reduction. And I'm running that side chain. So basically I'm kind of, it's a really fancy way of just basically letting the guitar decide when it wants to open and close rather than like the amp deciding. And then out of that, it goes into the plumes, which is just like a really fancy tube screamer. I absolutely love that guy. It's got 3 really cool modes. It's got like I believe the first mode is like an LED clipper, so it's kind of like more of a dirty tone. It's not really distorted, but it's kind of dirty. The middle is just like a straight up tube screamer. I think everybody knows what that sounds like. And then the third mode, which is what I believe I'm running it on, is like a silicone diode clipper, which is like a little bit more gritty, but it's clearer. And I kind of like it because I've already got enough meat on this amp. I don't really want too much distortion, so it usually just sounds like, you know, really nice. So as you can kind of tell, it just kind of adds a little bit more like kind of meat to it, but nothing crazy. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. And then the last pedal I have is just a digital delay, and I really only ever use this for like leads. I'm not too crazy about having too much going on. It just kind of helps add a little bit of separation.
Yeah.
You know, adds like, I don't even think this is going like too much, like. So again, not a whole lot. Just enough to add some character, add a little bit of depth. One thing I will use, I guess this is more of an effect, but I will have the reverb on the actual amp turned up just a little bit. I believe it's a spring reverb. That's what usually comes on amps. And I like it just for a little bit of extra ambience. Nothing super crazy. Like, it's just to add a little bit of dimension, a little bit of character to the amp that I'm not getting when it's dry.
Right. Yeah. It just gives it a little texture, like you said.
The only other thing that I'll do is I have this little, like, you know, I have my channel selector, and I guess I kind of treat it like a pedal because, like, I kind of treat my different channels as, I guess, different effects. I typically stay on the first channel, but sometimes if I want, you know, a little bit more gain, I'll click it over to the next one. But I kind of treat it more like a pedal than like I'm on this channel for one song in particular. I'm like kind of switching back and forth depending on what the song needs.
Right. Yeah, and speaking of that channel switcher and now that pedal board into this amp, I don't think it is a Sweet Tea amp.
No, it is not. This is an EVH 5150 Iconic series. It's basically just a rebranded 5150. We got the plate custom made because we joke that we are Sweet Tea Z-Core. So we just thought it looked cool. So we joke that it's like the Sweet Tea custom mod.
Yeah.
But this thing is really sweet. It's awesome. I believe it has 2 12 AXL preamps, and then I know it has 4 6L6s in the back, so it's got some power.
Yeah.
And it is meaty. Like, even on just the crunchy tone, like, it is, like, if I just turn this off. It's already kind of meaty.
Yeah,
like,
for
it
sure.
sounds really good, just crunched up. I actually sometimes joke that it's a bit too much for what we're playing.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm running it through I didn't bring it with me today, mainly because I couldn't get it in my car, but we have a Mesa 4x12 oversized, and when you combine this amp with that cab, it is just like, it's mean.
Oh,
it's absolutely, like, super mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Chase telling me about that oversized Mesa cab. He didn't realize it was the biggest, bigger one.
It is huge, but it sounds so good. But, you know, even then, the matching cab here still sounds amazing.
Yeah, the 212 EVH 5153 cab. Yeah, it sounds great. And again, we just micing it up with the SM57, and you being having the studio, you said that's the good classic.
That's the classic mic. You know, you cannot go wrong with the 57.
You can mic about anything.
Oh
with
yeah,
a 57.
anything. Like you could I could do a whole drum kit with all I had was 57.
Yeah, yeah. And you normally, like you said, you ran on that channel unless the song calls for more or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we barely got it cranked open tonight, you know, for the recording purposes or whatever. But yeah, that thing sounds great.
Yeah, and another thing I guess I should note is that this amp in particular, I think maybe some of the other Van Halens, the EVHs have these, but we have a full and a half or a quarter option, and I actually always run it on quarter.
Okay.
And it's like an attenuator, so you can kind of crank the amp. And you know, when an amp's cranked, it like really opens those tubes up.
Yeah.
It's a really nice sound, but kind of like maybe, I guess it's a quarter of the volume, and this thing can get loud just at that.
You're
so
right,
I'd hate to hear what this sounds like wide open.
Right. And are you running your delay into the effects loop in the back?
Yeah. So that's actually why you can hear, like if I kick this off, you hear all that hum. So but I've got my delay kind of in the effects loop, so I can hear that, but I'm not getting any of that hum, that annoying hum that comes with playing high gain amps. And that's really nice because if you're playing like a tight pattern, like and if I did this, and even if I get into like higher gain, you just get like, when you're playing like tighter patterns or even just playing anything that's
cleans it all up.
It just really cleans it up. It's not a particularly unique trick. I think people have known about this for a while. But any pedal, like you got the silencer, I think, you know, the Boss NS2 does, or NS1 does it. NS2 or NS1, one of those. And then you have, like, I think the Behringer one does it too. So if I always tell people if they get a noise suppressor, try to get one with a side chain, because honestly, it just tightens everything up. It's super easy to do. You can kind of just set it and forget it. I used to be one of those people that would really struggle with where to put my noise suppressor. Like, do I put it in the front? Do I put it in the back?
Right.
And now I just kind of have it in my chain, and I don't even think about it.
Yeah. And I've noticed a lot of other people too, and some people may not know this, but a lot of, like your delay or modulated pedals, like reverb delay, stuff like that, if you run it into that effects loop like you have, and you're not hitting it with all that gain on the front end, so it's a cleaner repeat.
It is.
Or whatever, so you're actually getting a more clean representation of what you're playing.
It's like, I always like to think, like when I'm placing pedals, is like, do I want my delay to be distorted by all of that, like by the preamp and stuff?
Right.
Or do I want my distortion to be delayed?
Right.
You know, that's kind of the way to think about it. And that's what I did. I was like, I want my tone to have delay to it. I don't want to like delay my tone.
Yeah. Definitely no right or wrong in that. It's just what you like.
It's just, it is all 100% dependent on what you like. But that's kind of like the way I like to think of things, is just like, whatever the pedal before it is going to, the next effect is going to have that present in it. So, you know, you just got to think, what are you wanting to do with your actual effect? Do you want to have a distorted reverb, or do you want to add reverb to your distortion?
Yeah, for sure. Would you want to just play through a couple little riffs of maybe some Fairview stuff or whatever?
I'll botch some Fairview stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
Let's see, what could I play? I'm in standard, so I'll probably just play this one's called Under the Gun, so.
Yeah, that sounds killer.
Yeah, like that's one of my favorite songs to play. I love how just like we play a lot of, that's like straight D beats.
Yeah.
Just love playing stuff like that. And I'll tune this. this is another one that's kind of like of our last release. This one's called Desperate for Acceptance, which is probably the last thing we put out. We actually put a video out for this back in February. So, so it goes. That's like the main riff off of that.
You can really hear this amp wanting to unleash on us.
It really wants to go
wants
further.
To get some volume.
It wants to push itself. So like if I were to maybe go here, maybe give it just a little bit more gain, the risk of feeding back. So we could play, you could hear it where it wants to feed back just a little bit. So this one is probably like our. This is actually a newer one that we're working on. So depending on when this video comes out, this may or may not have been announced. So if it hasn't been, sorry to the rest of the guys in the band. But if it has, then
we won't worry about them.
Yeah. So this one is something we've been working on. Actually, and it is in standard. So this one, I'll play the heaviest part. This one is actually called Idle Threats. And this is something that we've actually just finished up. It's actually ready for release. I think we're just going to sit on it for a minute. But this is kind of probably the heaviest thing we've ever done. And it goes a little something like this.
Yeah.
So, little sneak peek.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that one for sure.
Yeah.
And, like you said, y'all that one before that, y'all had a video out, and it's available on YouTube. And go check out Fairview on Instagram, Facebook, all the social medias.
Yeah, any place.
Yeah, and we'll throw up the link for that, and the link for Sound Asylum.
I believe it's just a Facebook.
Just a Facebook post.
Yeah, we're in the process of redesigning the entire website and kind of getting our online presence kind of revamped. But if you were to Google the Sound Asylum, Johnson City, Tennessee, you totally find us. I think we're like the top search. If you want to come by, come say hey. I always love talking to people.
Yeah, just if you've got any projects you want to think about recording or laying down, I've heard a lot of stuff coming out of there, and it sounds great.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
It's we talked earlier, playing live or playing music is a total different ball game than it is in the studio.
Yes.
And there's a lot of great players that doesn't translate well in the studio, and vice versa.
Yeah, I like to think of this like a lot of players who really thrive in the live setting, I think tend to get a little scared in the studio, and I think it's just because live, everything is like once you play it, it's gone. It's on the ether, and when we're in the studio, it's kind of forever.
Yeah.
But that's not scary. It just means that we do it again and again until we get it right.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Hit rewind and play.
Yeah, just whatever. Like control, what is it? Command Z, get rid of it.
Yeah. I'd encourage y'all to definitely check that out and take advantage of some of these local recording studios. And you know, and everybody's great friends. I mean, I know I've seen y'all
yeah.
at Classic
We're-
Studios, and
Everybody, I believe in community and not competition. So I see everybody here who's doing a studio is like they're my friends, they're my colleagues. I want them to succeed just as much as I'd hope they'd want me to succeed. So don't think for an instant that if you don't want to work with me or you want to go somewhere else, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I support that and I respect that. So we all try to be friends around here. I try to make friends with anybody that's opening a studio or is even thinking about it. So if you want to come by and you want to just say hey, or you want to talk audio, or you're just kind of even interested in recording, I'm always happy to talk to people about it.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to have that resource
Yeah.
here locally too. So again, you know, it's been a few weeks since we had Aaron in here, and I can't remember what episode that was now, but he's one of the guitar players in Fairview, and Alex, the other guitar player in Fairview. We certainly appreciate you stopping by, and we love doing these things and supporting local, because these guys shop here at Campbell's and they support local, and so we want to return that favor and show love to their bands and try to push them out there and their projects that they're doing and businesses that they've got and stuff. So like we said, you've been coming here a long time.
Yeah, I've probably been coming here since I started playing guitar, maybe even before that. Like I had friends in high school, because I started playing guitar when I was maybe a little later in life. I was like 15, I think, when I really took the instrument serious, and I would have friends that would drive up here, and I would ride with them, and we would just walk around and play amps. I think this was the first place I ever played like a Mesa dual rectifier, and I was just like, I was like, I've seen this. I was like really into like metal bands, and like I was like, I'm playing through the same amp as some of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys just had an awesome selection. You guys have always been super helpful, super friendly. Great selection of just really anything. Like again, like I said, I've been a Fender guy forever. You guys always have carried Fender, so it's been great. You know, I've come here for pedals. You guys always have an amazing selection of pedals, both new and used. Always love looking to see what you guys have. You have all the cables I need, all the strings I need.
Yeah.
I can't think of any reason why I wouldn't choose to come here.
Yeah.
Over any. Also, you guys have some awesome stuff for recording, which they can't see because it's just off camera. But you got some cool stuff that is just like recording gear. I'm like literally looking at some Yamaha HS5s, which are really cool.
Yeah, really good studio monitors.
Yeah, great studio monitors.
And basically everything on your pedal board.
Pretty sure I got here.
And we sell the pedal train, Electro-Harmonics, the Earthquaker devices, and Boss stuff. So, and we carry EVH. So you know,
this is
we can, if you like what you're hearing, we can set you up with the whole rig.
You can have the whole Fairview rig
right here. But yeah, again, thanks so much for showing up. Thanks for doing this, and we'll just play a little tune out, and y'all go check out Fairview, check out Sound Asylum. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What do I want to play? I'll just play Dear Wednesday. It's probably our most popular song.
All right.
So.
Heck yeah. Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you for having me so much. I really appreciate it.
We out, I reckon.
Cool.
Better